Spread ego, cross the block. Spread ego, spread ego, cross the block.
One of the most frequent comments I get on my Pokemon videos, other than the ones bashing my taste in games, is, yeah, Pokemon sucks. Now I only play romhacks. They're so much better. I have nothing against romhacks or fan games in general, but I've never really been in that boat. Cause on the surface, most romhacks boil down to Kaizo ultra hard bullshit mods, creepypasta stuff, or Pokemon my ass version. Which don't tell anyone, but I'm more of a penis fellow myself. Before I say anything else, you need to understand, I know firsthand how hard game development is. I've spent a combined 4 months on making RPGs and that shit has demolished me. And this was with spaghetti code that was so bad it would probably kill a celiac. However hard you think it is to put something like this together and make it work, multiply that by 100. So I'm not saying I'm never into ROM hacks or fan games because they're inherently worse, I just never had any interest. In Pokemon's case, mostly because a lot of them are just derivative and don't have a whole lot else going for them. Emerald but with the physical special split, Black and White with more Pokemon, every region in one. It takes work to make them, but I've played these games before. But you know what? I cracked. I put together a shiny new Miku machine. I finished Drill Dozer and Advance Wars and Minish Cap. What's next? Pokemon Unbound is what was next. Obviously, are you even paying attention here? Pokemon Unbound is a ROM hack created by Skelly and a whole bunch of other dudes which started production in 2016 and ran until a couple years ago. It would take me a while to go over absolutely everything this game has, but a lot of it is the usual ROM hack stuff. Easily trackable EVs, quality of life stuff, level caps, but it's also got an entirely original map, storyline, music, and sprite art. That's what sets it apart from the usual gruel. Now before we get into it, I want to start this video off with one specific question. Well, two, sort of. What makes Pokemon special? Or more specifically, what do the good Pokemon games have that makes them special that the bad ones don't? Everyone is going to have a different answer to this, depending on how you interact with the series. If you're a shiny hunter, a competitive maniac, if you're 9 years old, whatever. For me personally, what makes this franchise special has always been the surprise discoveries layered throughout, and the curiosity that comes with them. Finding a rare Pokemon in an unexpected place, then wondering what else could be out there that you missed. Seeing that Swalot has a move you've never heard of before and putting together a comp spread that's completely worthless but still kinda funny. Being a kid and blazing through the Cerebi page for Black and White Pokemon before they even had English names, wondering which ones are gonna end up in your team. Shit, even in Scarlet and Violet, seeing this dude's portrait for the first time and being like, who can it be now? That is what I value the most about Pokemon. That is what kept me going with this franchise for years until this killed it for me. And this is where Unbound really shines, because for the first time in years, I'm playing a Pokemon game that feels new, and there are new things to discover that I actually care about. Starting off right in the thick of the story, picking unconventional starters, wondering what route you're going to take around the map and what that big city in the center is going to look like. Right from the get-go, I'm already hooked. I feel like I need to state this again. This is a brand new region created from scratch, with tons of new sprites and an entirely original soundtrack. Do you have any idea how much work that takes? It's a bit early for me to give the game props when I've hardly talked about it, but seriously. Just on a surface level, this game is nothing but talent. At a glance, you can tell that this shit is quality. Is it on par with the main series? Yes, absolutely! For me at least, Unbound was able to capture that great feeling of booting up an official brand spanking new Pokemon game without the underlying dread that comes with knowing it's gonna suck. No glitches, no easy baby bullshit, no areas that look like they were slapped together in 20 seconds. This is the real deal. Boreas is a fantastic region filled with an insane amount of unique areas and memorable songs, and the way it fits into existing Pokemon lore is extremely well done. It really does feel like a game from an alternate universe where some horrible world event never happened. What's funny though is how it manages to feel on the same level as the official games while it offers so many quality of life and difficulty options that were completely different from mainline entries. Again, we're talking about easy ways to EV train and keep track of stats, easily attainable competitive items, the fucking Dex nav. If you've ever complained about Pokemon being for kids and too handholdy, here you go. Even with all this stuff though, Unbound doesn't present itself as a super hardcore difficult Kaizo ROM hack or whatever. It caters to pretty much every type of player. I played this game on difficult, which is the second easiest difficulty because I am a baby in case you were curious, and it was pretty close to perfect difficulty-wise. I went into this not wanting to spend a ton of time EV training a specific team for each big battle, or breeding a whole bunch of different Mon, and even though I ended up doing both of those things because the game made it easier than I expected, it was still a motherfucker sometimes, but like, in a good way. Even on the second lowest difficulty, this game will throw shit at you that you'd never expect. Entry hazards galore, Swift Swimmer Waldo outspeeding my max speed Sceptile, the opponent's spamming Rock Slide with a 60% flinch chance. What the hell? So many of these battles were nail-biters in some form or another, and it made those victories so much better. And that's partially thanks to the gym leader gimmicks, which was a really fun way to go about making battles difficult and unique. Basically, every gym leader and Elite Four member has some battle gimmick that favors the type of team they use, such as electric types gaining levitate, ghost types taking reduced damage if their HP is full, or double effect chance for dragon types, like I mentioned earlier. These are just so damn cool. Why haven't you done anything like that yet, huh? Admittedly, while it's a cool idea and I like almost all of these, some of them were sort of a miss. It's great to have insane ideas like having the normal type gym leader be an inverse battle, but then you get, oh, you can't use psychic type moves against me. But that's only for a few of them. Most of these make for an extremely fun spin on battles, and you really do have to come up with some wicked strategies or builds to get past them. Mechanically, Pokemon has been the same for its entire existence, other than the one-off gimmicks every generation. The main campaigns usually boil down to just sweeping everything in the game with movesets you don't have to think twice about. But in Unbound, with just a little bit of tuning and quality of life features, it turns into this deep system that's worth exploring and building teams around and making entire videos rambling about it. Sure, on the surface, it's nothing special. It's the same exact stat and move system with a few silly challenges sprinkled in. But even on a low difficulty setting, you're encouraged to build your teams using features that were never really needed for single-player Pokemon. They give you the tools to do so, and they make it super easy. I'm sure every Pokemon ROM hack expert is watching this like, yeah, of course you have to EV train, you fucking moron. Just the difference between this, where Pokemon has always been kind of afraid to publicly mention features of its own games like EVs and IVs, and Unbound, and probably every other hack out there, where it's embraced so thoroughly. It just makes such a huge difference with how you engage with the game throughout. Alright, so presentation is phenomenal, difficulty options, new features, and quality of life stuff is insane. Let's go over the one part of the game I've seen scrutinized the most, the story. Honestly, during my playthrough I didn't have many issues with it, but according to people online, who as we all know are the most notable and trustworthy critics of video games out there, this game is edgy. The bad guys in this game send you to hell and try to kill people. And don't even get me started on the Shadow Warriors. While yeah, the game tries to be a little more mature than your average Pokemon romp, all of this stuff happened in the series before. You went to Hell in Platinum, X and Y's climax was all about the giant evil Death Ray, and while I can't defend the genetic experiments or dead kids that act as character motivation, that's not exactly unheard of in video games, you know. It's not like it's in poor taste. There were a few moments where it ain't your mom's Pokemon, but the only real alarm bell worth mentioning was the first gym, where you have a grass-type gym leader who hotboxes his gym, has a pot leaf for a gym badge, and his gimmick is that everyone's accuracy tanks because all your Pokemon are high as shit. And the first trainer in his gym is named Youngster Doobie. Youngster fucking Doobie. Imagine you show up for a job interview and you have to introduce yourself as Youngster Doobie. Honestly, I can't tell if this is hilarious or stupid. If I was 10 years younger, I'd probably piss myself laughing, but here it just set kind of a weird first impression. For the whole game, I was holding my breath for the super fruity fairy type gym leader whose gym was a strip club or something, but thankfully that never happened. Instead, it was the normal type guy that was the fruity one. I should have known. Past that, though, any attempts this game makes to paint itself as mature isn't as eye-roll inducing, so I think I can chalk Youngster Doobie up as something that was funny when the devs first added it in, and then they just had to deal with it for the rest of the development cycle. Apparently, earlier versions of the game had a darker storyline mode where some Shadow Grunts die instead of getting knocked out or something, but that was taken out at some point, I don't know when. Maybe that's what people meant when they said the game was too edgy. Okay, my usual bulleted video list is done, so let's go back to that question of what makes Pokemon special. While Unbound has an insane amount of discoveries to be made, side quests to do, and Pokemon to collect, there's something else that makes Unbound spectacular that's just not in the rest of the series. This may be an obvious cop-out answer, but you can really tell that they cared a lot about this game. This wasn't just a ROM hack that was put together in someone's free time over the course of a year. This is an honest-to-God passion project by dozens of people who loved everything about Pokemon and wanted to bring back that sense of discovery and newness and wonder that makes the series special. I'm gonna get up on my soapbox for a second, but I feel like this is relevant. One of the key nuggets of wisdom that's guided me throughout my life is fuck a bag, dude. The second you introduce the need for profit in your hobbies or endeavors, something about them fundamentally changes. Not always in a bad way. I'm not saying that you should never monetize the thing you love to do, just recognize that you're gonna feel different about it once you do. Sponsorships, worrying about commissions or view counts, all of that is gonna affect your art and how you feel towards it. Personally, you'll see me eat a bullet before you ever see a Manscaped ad on any of my videos. I can absolutely promise you that. Now this is relevant because you see the same thing happen with Pokemon, it just wasn't obvious at first. This franchise has always been a business, but back in the old days it was just funny mouse game for kids. You can pinpoint the exact moment the need for profit outweighed the desire to make good games. The exact game where they said, wait a second, why are we even giving a shit? And did nothing but push out turds for the next 6 years. I bring all this up because Unbound is a glimpse into what Pokemon would have been like if there was never that need for profit at all. Since, obviously, it's a fan game and there isn't any money involved in this process. There's no need to appease shareholders or sell copies or give a shit about reviews. There's only putting together a game that has everything you could ever want in it. This video was never meant to be an exploration or critique of what it means to monetize or not monetize your passions or rant about the gaming industry. I just wanted to yap about a game I thought is cool. But after weighing Unbound against Scarlet and Violet, it's like night and day. Even the shittiest creepypasta mod out there has more soul in it than this. And now that I've vomited out all my thoughts, I think I would be willing to give more fan games a shot in the future. Sure, I may be picky, but I want to see more of that unbridled passion that leads people to create stuff like this. Just maybe not Pokemon my ass oh fuck yeah!